Welcome to everyone that's joining us. We're just letting people in slowly and we'll get started at 7. All right, everyone, my clock just turned 7. We've got a good number of people that have joined us already, so I will get started. My name is Christina Zenker, and I'm really happy all of you have joined tonight. We are starting to record this session, so please keep that in mind. All right, one moment. All right, so I do want to just first of all begin by introducing myself and our team. So my name is Christina Zenker. I'm a community engagement specialist with EducationPlannerBC. I'm joined by my whole team tonight and really excited to have our 2 new community engagement specialists to introduce you to. Emma Kim and Haley Arstad are joining us tonight. They won't be presenting, but they are here to support the presentation and have a lot of experience working with students and post-secondary and all of that. So really happy to have them on our team. I also have my manager, our manager, Melody McKiernan, supporting the presentation. Some of you might remember her or recognize her from last year. And also our colleague, Irene Kuo, who helps us with the program content management and also with our presentations. So if you see some names in the chat, they're going to introduce themselves and they will be available and helping also on the back end with the Zoom presentation. Before I get too far, I do want to, first of all, gratefully acknowledge that the Education Planner BC offices are held across a few different traditional territories. So first of all, our offices here in the traditional territories of the Coast Salish Nations, specifically the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. As well, we have offices on the territories of the Lekwungen and the Wasanich speaking peoples. So we're really grateful to be able to live, work, and play within these territories across the coast. So just a couple housekeeping tips for this session. We do encourage you to have your videos on if you like, but the session is being recorded. So if you're not comfortable being part of that recording, please keep your videos off. Of course, mute your audio. If we see the audio is on, we'll probably just mute you anyways. That will just help with the flow for the presentation. You will notice, of course, at the bottom that there's the Zoom chat that's enabled. So feel free at any point to say hello, post any questions that you have, anything that we're talking about. If that sparks some questions, go ahead and type it in the chat, and my colleagues will be monitoring that and responding to questions as they come up. We are going to leave time at the end of the session for a proper question and answer period where you can unmute if you like, and we can chat a little bit more in detail about some things. But on that final point here on this slide, Education Planner BC is a very important resource, and we're at the heart of the post-secondary system in BC. But as engagement specialists and as a team here, we're not able to speak on behalf of institutions regarding their specific policies or their things like seat availability or the latest GPA requirements. All that kind of information you will get from the institutions themselves. And our role is to make sure that you know who to contact and help you to navigate through that process. So we're always happy to answer questions to the best of our ability, but there might be some details that we certainly can't share or we can't speak on behalf of the institution about. So for this session tonight, it's going to be about an hour. We have an hour and a half booked, but we'll try to keep our content to under an hour, and then that way we can have some more time for the question and answers. And again, thank you for giving us your time tonight, especially when it's not raining and it's beautiful outside. For a session though, we are going to start off with PowerPoint. I'm going to be delivering this presentation, so we'll take you through some content first about the post-secondary system in BC, just to make sure everybody is on the same page, and we can talk about the options that are available for your student. And we'll look at the institutions and the credential pathways. We're also going to look at applications and give you more information about the Education Planner BC application service. And we do have a few pieces of information to share with you about financial assistance. So we've got some content from Student Aid BC to share with you tonight. So we're really excited about that. And then finally, I'm going to take you on a tour through the Education Planner BC website. And that is really a great resource. I'm not sure how many of you have used it, but we'll give you a chance to let us know that as well. Like I said, at the end, we are going to do a question and answer. So hopefully you can stay to the end. Again, if at any point you have to leave, no worries. We are recording this session and we're going to be sharing it with participants afterwards. Okay. So I just want to thank, of course, the Kits Pack for having us tonight and allowing us to connect with you virtually. I'm going to invite Alan, Corinna, Charlotte, whoever would like to speak first. I know Alan has been our contact here. This is the third year that we've been able to do a session for parents right at the start of the school year. So really happy to be doing this again tonight. So Alan, if you'd like to say a few words, the floor is yours.
Well, thanks, Christina. Yeah, and so yeah, on behalf of the Kits Pack, welcome and thank you to all the parents, and I think probably a few students too in the group who have tuned in. So this is this kicks off our Kits Pack Parent Information Series, which we've called What's Next. And a few years ago, it kind of dawned on some of us that, well, a lot of the counseling office at the school does a lot of work in talking about post-secondary options and arranging for presentations from different institutions with the students. A lot of that information sometimes doesn't come back to parents, and parents, of course, have a pretty important role in helping their students kind of work their way through the process of figuring out what they're going to be doing after high school. So we came up with this idea of this lecture series. And in past years, we've had typically 1 or 2 sessions a month. Typically, there are either recorded or have materials come to us from the institutions, which do all get posted on the KidsPack website. So people do have access to the presentations and material, even if they can't actually attend. So watch for those things to appear sort of shortly after each presentation. We've had people from the different universities, SFU, UBC, UVic, Emily Carr, Kwantlen Polytechnic, colleges from Langara, Capilano, for example. Lots of trade stuff. VSB Trades has come and spoken for the last couple of years as well. And we've had speakers from places like the VCC, the Pacific Culinary Institute, the IATSE folks talking about sort of technical work in theater and film production, as well as last year we had at one point an alumni panel of KITS grads who had been sort of at university talking about what to expect going into university kind of in COVID times and what their experience had been. So we're hoping to bring some of those folks back this year and maybe some folks we haven't included before. So please do stay tuned and watch for those announcements. So thanks. So this is the 3rd year that we've actually kicked off the series with Education Planner BC, because it seemed to us such a great resource to make sure people know about, because it gives really a big picture of what the whole process involves and what kind of options people have and how to research them effectively. So thank you very much to Melody and Christina and your team. And yeah, we'll look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right, so we'll get started. First of all, introducing ourselves. Who is Education Planner BC? Some of you may have heard of us, some of you may have not, but it is still fairly new to everyone in the province. Just within the last 5 years, the province mandated back in 2015 to have a central online resource for applications and planning services for the post-secondary sector. So it is in fact like a one-stop shop of information, but most importantly, now it is the central application hub for the province. So it's a pretty exciting new resource for everyone to plan and explore the information, search for programs and details, and find all kinds of other resources. So without further ado, I'll let our intro video speak for itself. It's just 1.5 minutes long, but this will also give you another sense of who we are.
Education Planner BC is a centralized online resource that helps explore your post-secondary options in BC and apply to those institutions directly. The planning section offers a ton of valuable resources to help you in your planning process. The search database allows you to explore through thousands of programs offered at the 25 public post-secondary institutions in the province. Narrow down your search using the many filter options available, including filtering by keyword, institution name, and our subject area. Once you're ready to apply, create an account and you'll be able to apply to multiple institutions in the province. And don't worry, if you have any questions throughout the process, fill out the Contact Us form in the Help section and one of our advisors will get you the answers you need. Remember, EducationPlannerBC.ca is here to help make it easier to plan for your journey into post-secondary. Good luck!
All right, so that was a lovely little summary. Now, I would love for parents, if you can let us know in the chat, how many, have you actually ever used the Education Planner BC website? Have you ever heard of us or used it before? If you can just open up that chat and let us know, that would be really great to get a sense of if this is new for you, if you've used it, how familiar are you with our website? So yes or no, have you used our site? Have you heard of us? Go ahead and type that in the chat. That would be great. So while you're accessing the chat, of course, we like to start off by acknowledging that as parents, you do have a very important role to play, not just in the final years of high school, of course, throughout your children's lives and your teenagers' lives. We'll refer to them as your students because, of course, right now they are in that really important time of life where they're trying to get to know themselves better and get a little sense of what their futures could be like. And so, of course, we know these conversations are ongoing, but they become more important in those senior years, especially starting in grade 10. So you might already have started these conversations, or maybe it's on the horizon. I'm not sure what grades your students are in. And students, if you're here tonight as well, I'm speaking to you as well. So again, these are probably the things that you're thinking about. But of course, in terms of planning for post-secondary, we need to know some really critical details. When do applications open and close? What's out there? And do you meet the admission requirements? But also thinking about a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. And sometimes that might involve transferring between institutions, which can be a really exciting opportunity and sometimes a very necessary one. So there's a lot of different conversations that go into play. Now, of course, if students are unsure about what to do, that's totally normal and totally okay. Really, you want to dig a little bit deeper there. And what kind of experiences or resources or support are you going to need so that you can just move forward confidently? You've got to take some first steps. So what will they be? So we know there are a lot of pathways after high school, and that's the most exciting thing of all. Of course, a lot of students will go straight into post-secondary, but not everybody. So we do always start off our presentations to students and to parents by acknowledging the fact that there are so many exciting pathways out there and no path looks exactly the same. Your student might want to take a break after high school. Maybe they want to just get straight out into the workforce and find a job, develop some new skills, figure out what they like, what they don't like, or possibly just save up some money and work on some personal goals first and then commit to post-secondary. Other students might have a very clear path of post-secondary and are really just building the bridge to get there as soon as possible. But maybe after a year or two, they change their mind, they change their program and explore some other areas or enter the workforce. Some students are interested in trades, and trades training can begin while students are in high school. So possibly through KITS or through the Vancouver School District, there might be some trades partner programs, and certainly we'll speak to that a little bit more in the session, how you can get more information from the ITA. But there are a lot of exciting opportunities for students who like to build, design, or fix things using tools and technology. So they might start with the trades and then later do something else. But of course, trades and training generally involves post-secondary education as well. They're spending time at the post-secondaries for those various levels of training. Now, also on this slide, we've got the little light bulb for upgrading because we want to, of course, reassure everybody that there is education out there for everyone. So maybe if there's a course that a student needs for a particular program, maybe in grade 11 or grade 12, they didn't get the mark that they wanted, or they needed to get in order to move forward into a program. You can do high school equivalent courses in post-secondary through the adult upgrading departments. And that can be a really great stepping stone to get you further to where you want to go. And also that might be, it might be there for you if, there's a course that you simply didn't have time to take in high school, but you do require it later on. So whatever the path is going to look like for your student, you're building it, they're building it with their, with their ideas and their skills and experiences, and also with their hopes and dreams. And, even if it's not a straight line, that is totally okay. And the main thing is, how can they get the information and resources they need to move forward initially, and where are they going to start? So through the CLE and CLC classes, when students are in grade 10, they have CLE, career life education, and then in grade 11 or grade 12, whichever year they do it in, they would complete that CLC, which is a graduation requirement, career life connections. So they really do get some time within the school, year to explore these topics, which is great. And as we do presentations across the province to all kinds of schools, we're working with students to really listen to them and see what their trying to plan for after high school as well. And every student's a little different, right? Some might have very clear passions, others are trying to figure out what they like and what they don't like. Of course, post-secondary offers so many different types of courses and programs and specialties and things that they've never heard of. So part of it is really just giving them the time to explore through the Education Planner search portal. They can really get a sense of all the different specializations and programs that are out there. And then of course, see what they need to get in and really expand their horizons about their options. Some students might not be thinking about post-secondary as the thing that they're aiming for. They might be focused on career planning. And then from that career choice, they think, how do I need to get there? And what are the credentials that are needed to get me into that career? So I'll show you as well through our website, the different ways that you can work with these topics in any way. If you want to focus on education first and find careers that are related, or focus on careers and then find the education that supports that, our website can allow you to do both of those kinds of searches. So because we do have a nice size group here and I think a mix of people, we do want to get a sense of who's all here tonight. So I'm just going to launch a couple polls here to get a sense of who's here. So you'll see it pop up right in the middle. So the first question is about who your student is, what grade they're in. So we'll get a sense where students are at. All right, so I'll just give you maybe 5 or 6 more seconds here. We've got most of the votes. All right, so I'll end that poll here. We got 86% of the vote. That's pretty good. So I'm just going to end the poll and share the results here so you guys can see that as well. So nice, almost even between grade 10s and 12s parents or students, and then some grade 11s, and then maybe just one from thinking about a grade 8 student. And that's great. It's never too late to start accessing our resources and start exploring post-secondary options. So we're glad all of you are here. I'll just stop sharing that one and I'll go into the second question here. So to get a little bit of a better sense of where your students are at, how clear is your student on what they want to do after high school? Very clear, some ideas, no idea, and maybe just they know they don't, they know they want to take a break. That could be a gap year, travel, work, volunteering. Wow, 100% of you answered that. That was very quick. Good, good stuff. All right, I'll share the results there. 61% of you, the students have some ideas, and some of you do have students with very clear ideas. That's awesome. Of course, there's some no ideas and maybe a few that just want to simply take a break. And that's great as well. We know that paths can look different for everyone. Nobody's falling behind or getting ahead. You know, the path that you build is going to reflect the uniqueness of the student. All right, so one more poll question here for you. I'm just going to stop sharing there. And this is also just single choice, so you might be pretty quick at answering this. But what are you looking to know more about? We're going to be touching on most of these topics just, you know, on the surface. And as the year goes on, you'll be diving deeper into whatever you need to learn more about. But just curious what you're coming to the session curious about learning tonight. All right, I'll give you another 10 seconds. We're getting our final voters in here. All right, we have 88% of the votes, so I'll just share the results. I'm sorry it's not as exciting as the national election, but here we go. So of course, 48% of you are looking to know more about post-secondary programs, so you're in the right place. Admission requirements, finances, course planning, okay, and a little bit about support services. So that's really helpful for us to know. And while you guys were doing that poll, I had a chance to look at the chat, and that's really great to see that some of you had never heard of us before, have never used it, or maybe you've seen it, but you haven't really explored it. So that's great. So I know our website tour will be very useful for all of you. All right, so I'm going to move on. So again, this first part of the presentation just gets everybody on the same page about the post-secondary system in BC. Some parents maybe are newer to Vancouver or to BC, you know, and we just want to make sure that we don't assume everybody knows about the system. So just on a basic overview, you've got all the logos there. There are 25 publicly funded post-secondary institutions in BC, and education is provincially funded. And that's why this resource really just focuses on BC. Now, I do want to acknowledge some of you might have students that are considering schools in other provinces and other parts of the world. So that's really exciting as well. And I encourage you to keep exploring those schools and resources. But for everything about BC, you'll be using our website to explore the options. So we do have 3 institutes. First of all, just as a brief overview, the role of the institutes are to provide really focused technical training, trades training, and programs that are tied to various types of careers and industries. So of course, BCIT is our largest institute. They have 5 campuses across the Lower Mainland. So everything from the aerospace campus in Richmond to the marine campus in North Vancouver, Burnaby downtown, and Annacis Island for all the various trades, technology, computing, nursing, electronics, digital design, media, so many different types of programs and levels that they offer. We also have NVIT, Nicola Valley Institute of Technology, and they're very unique because there are only Indigenous post-secondary institution in BC. So they do serve, of course, a unique population, but they're open to everyone. They have 2 campuses. They're in Merritt as well as in Burnaby at the BCIT campus. So for any Indigenous students, of course, they do have some really excellent, unique programs. They've got a mix of academics and trades and professional programs there as well, and technology. And then finally, we've got the Justice Institute of BC, or JIBC. So they do have a mix of certificates, diplomas, and bachelor degree programs. Their focus is on police and justice studies and conflict resolution, professional training for things like firefighting, or if you want to train to become a paramedic. So the JIBC can be a really great institution for some of your students if they're looking to get into a specific field. So those were the 3 institutes. Next, we've got 11 colleges. And if you look at this slide, some of these you can guess where they are based on the region. College of the Rockies, Coast Mountain College, that's up in the northwest coast of BC. On Vancouver Island, they've got Camosun College in Victoria, which is very large with 2 campuses. And up island, they've got North Island College. So colleges really serve the regions where they're in. And they have programs that can allow students, of course, to complete certificates, degrees, and full bachelor degrees, as well as provide a transfer pathway for students to then later go into universities. So in the Lower Mainland, we do have Langara College, VCC, Vancouver Community College, and Douglas College. And the nice thing, of course, about colleges is that, they're located on transit lines or SkyTrain lines. Their tuition fees are lower. That is also part of the purpose of a college, is to provide a more affordable and accessible post-secondary experience and education for everyone. So, when cost is a factor, you can certainly look at the budgeting that's needed for a college versus a university, and maybe make some decisions based on that, or based on simply the experience of being part of a smaller institution, right? If your student would thrive in an environment where there's only 30 students per class and they'll get to know their professors more easily, colleges can be a really great fit for students. So they are located in every corner of the province, as I mentioned. Now, we've got 11 universities, and of course, most of us know what's in the Lower Mainland, and we are very lucky, of course, here with UBC, SFU, UVic. UVic is not in the Lower Mainland, but UBC, SFU, are of course, the two big research universities. As well, we have some smaller universities that began as colleges, but now are full-fledged universities. So they really have a nice balance of a smaller campus in slightly smaller cities, but a full array of university programs, academics, trades, upgrading, arts, and so much more. So there's also Capilano University in North Vancouver, University of the Fraser Valley in Abbotsford. We've got Emily Carr University of Art and Design, KPU, Kwantlen Polytechnic University. And I think that's it. So across the province, of course, we've got a few other excellent universities. UBC has their other campus in the Okanagan. TRU, or Thompson Rivers University, is in Kamloops. Up in Prince George, we've got the University of Northern British Columbia, and they've got some regional campuses up there. And of course, on the island, there's University of Victoria, there's VIU, Vancouver Island University in Nanaimo, and then there's also Royal Roads University. So we really are spoiled. We are very lucky with our institutions here. They have so many different types of programs. Your students might be looking for a particular program or a particular experience, and they certainly can peruse the options that are available here. So as your students are trying to think about what they want to do, what they'd like to study, where they could go, of course, you're going to be doing some of that research and making those comparisons and looking further into what might fit. And, it might be based on the class size or the campus. Do they prefer a larger environment or a smaller campus? Cost plays a big role, and we will be talking about finances. If your student does want to move away from home, which schools have residences? Well, of course, all the universities do have residences. Some of the colleges around BC do have residences, but just not the ones in the Lower Mainland because there's so much housing around here. But, again, the post-secondary institutions have support services that can help students find housing, even if they're going to a college. So there's a lot of differences between the institutions, but the main message we always do want to share is that we do have an excellent system here that is very well integrated. So that means that the courses that you take at one school are actually equivalent to the schools around the province. So a first-year psychology course at Langara is equivalent to the first-year psychology course at UBC. At the end of that course, it's a 3-credit or 6-credit course. So what it means is when students are thinking about where to go, they can also take courses and build up that credit history. And maybe if they do decide they want to transfer, those courses can transfer very easily. So we do have excellent instructors and facilities at all the different types of institutions. And there's really a lot of things you can explore that are unique. But that is the main similarity here, is that we do have a lot of excellence within the system overall. All right, so in terms of your credential options, this might be very familiar to some of you, but for those maybe, again, not familiar with the Canadian system, just want to do a brief overview of credentials, because your student might be thinking not just about what they want to study, but how long do they want to be in school for, or what can they get out of the education, and what do they need to get into that career, right? So there are some shorter term options. First of all, certificate and diploma programs are designed to get students into various career pathways and have a credential that ensures the student has the theory and some practical experience oftentimes to get into certain types of careers or industries. So a 1-year certificate example could be a paralegal certificate or healthcare assistant certificate. It also could be administration assistant or a tourism. And the 2-year diplomas are often for things like technology or music and electronics. There's all kinds of different career professional focused diplomas, also paralegal and business technologies, administration, and that kind of thing. So for a 1 or 2 year program option, that could really open up a lot of doors for your students to different types of careers and opportunities. And the nice thing is that they could then generally ladder into the bachelor degree as they want to carry on with their studies and move up. I'm sure a lot of your students are already thinking about bachelor degree programs. That's a 4-year credential in BC, and students can apply straight in after high school. And there might be very specific bachelor degrees that your students are looking to apply into. Some might be very competitive. So of course you kind of research the requirements for that. But there is also a stepping stone towards the bachelor degree that a lot of students don't know about. They've maybe never heard of it, and that's called the associate degree. It's Associate of Arts or Science. So if your student is looking to get into maybe a Bachelor of Science in nursing or an engineering degree or something like that, whether they have the grades to apply and get straight in for first year, or maybe, you know, there are limited seats, and so it's hard to get into that institution for the first year. Students can always start with an associate degree, and over their first and second year, they'll build up those required credits for arts or sciences. And at the end of the second year, they will be more eligible to transfer into the third year of a more specialized degree program in arts and sciences. So definitely look into that as a stepping stone towards the bachelor degree if they don't want to apply straight into the degree, or maybe they want to start off at a college or at a smaller university and they don't have the degree that's available. You can always start with an associate degree. For some of your students that might be interested in law or medicine, of course, that's after your bachelor's degree. So you can talk to them about the planning process for the undergraduate credentials and the courses that you could take along the way within the bachelor degree program. But you need to look into the requirements to get into law or medicine or dentistry and work backwards, and then plan with academic advisors and choose a bachelor degree that would set you up on that next path. All right, so we don't need to touch really on the graduate credentials, of course, for your students. It's really about where they're starting from. I don't think anyone posted in the poll that they're specifically interested in trades, but just to include a little bit of information about that. Of course, with trades training, it could start with a one-year foundation certificate that gives the entry-level skills and experience so that a student can then find an employer that takes them on as an apprentice. And there are many different Red Seal trades. Sorry, there's 49 Red Seal trades in BC, and these are very highly skilled, highly paid professions. So there's a lot of opportunity for trades careers in BC. And if that, of course, is an interest to you, they can talk to the school counselors or the industry training authority. So one other point about the options, of course, if your student is thinking of taking a year off, or maybe they want to take some courses for fun or for professional development on the side, there's always something called continuing studies, and that's offered by each of the post-secondary institutions. So, and as well for yourself, you might know about continuing studies as an adult learner if you want to take, you know, conversational French or Adobe InDesign, horticulture. You know, sometimes there are these non-credit courses and programs that you can take that could also give you the skills you're looking for in order to move forward. I mentioned about upgrading, that's always an option, but also there are a lot of excellent private institutions, as I think Alan mentioned earlier, you know, places like Vancouver Film School or other private institutions or private training. Your student might be considering those as well. So there are, of course, a lot of options. So I'm just going to kind of keep flying through this presentation, then I'm going to get us onto the website. So this is just two little slides here as a teaser, but I will take you into the website to do some exploring there. But just because of where we're at with the starting of the school year, and some of you have students that are in grade 12, of course, you know, October 1st is when applications opened to post-secondary institutions. Some schools have even opened up a little bit earlier on September 15th, UVic and a few of the colleges. But most post-secondary institutions open up applications on October 1st. So now is the time to really gather the information and sign up for the account and do the research about when the deadlines are. They're, you know, generally going to be in January or later, so no panic, no pressure, but really it's a great time to get started to understand this information and get further support. I'll show you again in real time through our website, just where you can create the account, but it is a very straightforward process now. So I mentioned this is the one-stop shop. It's a central service for BC. So you can create one account and then the student can create their profile save it, come back to it anytime. And then after October 1st, you can start to select the institution that you want to apply to. There might be some information or documents that are required to upload or attach in the form, but again, you can save it, you can come back to it. And anything else like the high school transcripts, that goes to the student transcript service, and any other documents might go to the school directly. So each school is a little different, but this starting point is standardized, so it makes it a little bit easier for everyone, especially if you're going to apply to multiple schools. All right, so the last few pieces of the slide part of the presentation are just speaking about finances. We know that's of course a concern for everybody for the most part about planning for post-secondary, and certainly when we talk to students, they're always concerned about it as well. It can feel a little daunting at first, of course. So the first message is that, of course, in grade 12, that's their opportunity to apply for all the, scholarships, awards, and bursaries. You can't apply before grade 12. So if your students are in grade 8 through 11, you can still start to do some research about what you might be eligible for, really have those conversations about finances and program costs and budgeting or loans, all that kind of information. And while your student is at the post-secondary institution, they can also look for opportunities to work on campus. There is always a financial aid department at every institution who can help students, navigate through loans and other grants and bursaries. And also your student might also think about co-op education if that's available at their school, because that would be a way to build in work experience and paid work experience into their program. So these next few slides were given to us this week by Student Aid BC. So we're really happy to be able to share their information with you. I'm not an expert on their programs and policies, so I can just share sort of the limited information, but I also encourage you to reach out to them directly if you have more questions. But the main message, of course, is that in BC, we do have this, this organization that is here to support students through education and post-secondary. They have a range of programs, and it is really needs-based and targeted for students. And we think of them sometimes just for student loans, but they offer more than that. There are grants that are non-repayable, so free money essentially if you qualify. There are loans, and then there's targeted financial assistance for different types of family incomes. So there could be different criteria. And one thing that a lot of people don't know or maybe forgot about is that a few years ago, the government announced that the student loans would be interest-free. So both provincial and federal student loans are interest-free until 2023. So maybe you can tap into that if needed. In terms of how to apply, students go through the Student Aid BC website, but first they have to have their BC services card, and that's something that they can actually start to register for anytime there, and then they register through the Student Aid BC website. So again, there's lots more details that their advisors can help you out with, but just as an overview, in case this helps here. With Student Aid BC, you do have to verify your identity first and create the account with Student Aid BC. You apply actually before your program or up to 6 weeks before it ends. So that's another common misperception or panic. If the student started in their first year of post-secondary, you can still apply for the student loans up to 6 weeks before that program ends. So you can go through those steps and receive a notice of assessment. If it looks good to you, then and the student, they'll sign it and then receive the funding. Of course, students will always be curious about how much money they could receive, and parents would want to know that too. But of course, this is all part of the assessment cost or the assessment process. So it does. That is based on their education and living costs and other resources that might be available to them through the family. So it's something that you can definitely learn more about, but if there's any other questions or concerns, you can reach out to Student Aid BC. So we're going to share a few of these links in the chat. And of course, the session is recorded and we'll show you how to get onto their website from ours. But I just wanted to give you a little sense of really what is available through Student Aid BC as a starting point. All right, the other websites that we refer to a lot and you'll see that are linked on the Education Planner BC website are the resources for BC, which can really help students explore careers. Work BC, of course, has a fabulous website. So I'll point out the Career Trek, these different videos, and Career Compass. If you're wanting to learn more about transferring between schools or how IB courses could translate into post-secondary credits, you can go to the BC Transfer Guide website, and then the ITA website, Industry Training Authority, for anything to do with trades. So we do have some excellent websites, and you'll see across our own Education Planner BC site that we link to them a lot. All right, so I'm just going to take a pause here for a minute here and just take a deep breath. If anyone's got any questions or if I've missed anything in the chat, please let me know. But I'm just going to launch our website now and take us into the site. All right, can you still see my website there? Okay, so hopefully everyone can see my screen okay. Nothing's changed here other than now I've launched our website. So this is how it currently looks. Probably in a year's time, there might be a different look and feel to it. But for now, this is how we can navigate through it, and the information won't really change. It'll just be enhanced, and so I'm looking forward to that as well. But for now, it's really intuitive with the different sections, the different purposes for our site. So there is the planning section. And if you click on the word plan at the top and just scroll down, that'll show you what's in each area. So when we're talking to grade 10 students, we're really introducing them to the terminology of post-secondary. So, we'll often just get straight into the glossary section so we can help them to understand what credentials are and what's the difference between a diploma and a degree, that kind of thing. We might want to, explore more about the institutions or the different pathways and, point out things that they could consider while they're in post-secondary. But if you click on getting started on the left, this is also just a really nice starting point because it helps you clearly identify the steps. So exploring what's out there, first of all, that takes you straight into our program search area. The step 2, what fits you, takes us straight into the Work BC area. So they've got this career toolkit, which I'll show you in a moment. And then it really helps students understand the planning process. So, what do you need to know about the institution and the program and finances? And again, it links to all of our different sections. So if you want to jump straight into the finance section, you can do it from there. So I'll just point out a couple things here. So in that People of Post-Secondary section, there is the first page for high school grads. And that's where we link to the Work BC's website. So if they're not using this yet in CLE or CLC, you can really have a lot of fun with their Career Compass. So that's just right there, Career Compass. There's 3 different quizzes you can do to see what you like and what kinds of careers you'd be suitable for. You can explore high opportunity occupations and do all kinds of searching that way. There's also Career Trek. So there's 130 different videos of careers, and it really gives you a firsthand look about what it's like to work in any of these areas and the skills that are required. And the nice thing is that it also links to their career profiles on their actual website. All right, so that's on the high school grads page. We also link some of the parents' resources there. And we do have a page for parents on the left as well that gives some nice kind of resources or tips for what to do, do's and don'ts, just some cheeky tips there, but we really want to encourage parents to walk alongside their students and maybe not take over entirely. So, there's some tips there. But the other sections in plan really just are more general, but they can help you to understand step by step. So the application section in plan can help you understand what you need to know, what, you know, to gather your information in grade 12. How are they going to pay their pay their fees, order their transcripts, that kind of thing. So this can give you a quick link over to the Student Transcript Service website. If you've never been on there yet, grade 12 students, you know, you need to get onto this so that you can, after you apply, authorize the transcript service to send out the transcripts to the schools you're applying to. So there's a page for transcripts. There's some tips for what to do after you apply, and registration. So all this can really help you if your students are in grade 11 or 12. And then of course, we've got these other sections. The finance section breaks down the types of costs of education, what fees to expect, why they're there. And these next couple tabs give you some great quick links and resources. So student financial assistance, there's the link to Student Aid BC. It explains what kinds of programs they have and other types of financial assistance. So again, understanding the terminology, what's the difference between an award and a grant and a bursary? And specifically on our scholarships and bursaries page, we do have already some drop-down menus where you can explore some of the most popular public and private sector bursaries and scholarships, and a quick link to get onto the school's financial aid and awards page. So again, whether or not you were aware, but every institution, of course, has a financial aid and awards service or department, and you can learn more about their bursaries, grants, scholarships directly from their website. So a lot of the information on our website just helps you to quickly get to the information you need. And finally, on this page as well for scholarships and bursary, there's some tips for how to apply. So if you're in grade 12, you want to go through this and get organized. But of course, if you're younger than grade 12, the students can still start to figure out some of these tips here. So there's other information in plan that can help you understand the landscape of support and the different services. And one I'll just want to point out is disability or accessibility services. So most post-secondary institutions have departments that can help your students if they do struggle in a classroom with any learning disabilities or any other challenges that may impact their education. There's also other exciting opportunities like co-op education. So if your student doesn't know what this is all about, you know, you can really just dig through this section. There's also a section for work and career planning. All right, but let's get into the search database now. So the search database, when you scroll over it, you'll see we have a few different options. Of course, we'll focus on undergraduate for the students, but you can get into the trades programs, or if you're looking for masters or PhDs, you can see our graduate database, and the non-credit continuing education. We also have a database for that. So it's a really neat way to explore and find programs. So right off the bat, you can see the different ways of searching. You can just go ahead and enter a keyword. If you just want to find anything related to film, just type in the word and start to see what the options are. And by default, it will show you the whole province and all the schools. You do have to play around with the keyword sometimes. You have to spell the word correctly. So right now I've typed in architect and it doesn't work, but if I type in architecture, that aligns with the names of the credentials or the programs. So just play around with the keywords a little bit, but this can help you to really quickly hone in on what you're looking for. But rather than just rely on the keywords, you can search specifically on the left with the filters. So maybe there's a couple schools already, you've narrowed it down. You just want to find the information maybe for SFU, and you've picked Capilano and maybe Langara, whatever, just popping into my head here. But you can just narrow down your search by those specific institutions, and then you can move over to the subject area. So I want to find anything related to engineering, anything related to health as well. I mean, students can be exploring this however you like, and you can also remove any of these tags that you don't want to see. You can also use the filters by credential. So if you just want to find bachelor's degrees, that will really help you to narrow it down. Or maybe you want to throw in the diploma or certificate options as well. There's other filters that we've included there. So we now tag programs by their learning methods. So if you want to know if it's face-to-face or online or temporarily online, we've tagged it there. And also you can filter by co-op or work experience. So not all schools offer co-ops. So as soon as we did that, it really narrowed down the options there. Right. So you can play around with how to search, but eventually you are going to click onto a program profile. And this is really the heart of it here, where we've made it all accessible in one place. So the first tab is fast facts. So where is the program? How much does it cost? When does it start? And roughly book and supply costs. And then most importantly, especially for grade 12 students, the application deadline advice. So when is the application? If they want to get into the fall, next fall, the deadline is January 31st. Right, and there's the fee, and every school sets their own application fee. So this is a quick way to check what those fees are. All right, so on that first page, we see some of that basic information, but now we need to see it about the admission requirements. All right, and then in here, it'll summarize for this specific program, Health Sciences Bachelor of Arts degree. So places like SFU, UBC, UVic, they do place more emphasis on grade 11 courses as well. So you can go through to see which courses you've taken and any other information there is about the grade requirements and other information that will be listed there. So again, it will display differently for each school. And finally, there's the occupations tab. So I mentioned it goes over to the Work BC website, and this can also be a really fun way of then clicking on a link to explore more about careers that are related to that degree. And this gives you that career summary page from Work BC. At the, it tells you everything about the job, how much you'll make, where the jobs are, and job requirements. And of course, it summarizes the education there, what you need to get into it, and it links back to our website if you want to find education. So there's that back and forth from their site to ours. All right, so that's again all in the program search area. I can always hit the back button and I've got my search there. I can play around with it. You can really just have a lot of fun exploring, but this should give you a really good sense of what's out there. So again, just click on the plus sign beside every one of these subject areas if your students are looking for, arts and humanities majors, psychology, anthropology, you can expand it there, or science majors. Or really just anything. As soon as you click on something, it'll show you the options, and that can be a really great way to explore. All right, so one other thing under search is the institution community map. So that can give you a better sense of where these places are. And of course, you can just jump in to learn more about the school on that page. That's under search. All right, so we're getting closer to 8 o'clock, but we're doing well so far. I'm just wanting to take us in now to the application site. And so basically from the search database, you might have noticed, I'll just hit the back button actually, but on each of these program profile pages, on the right side, there's always an apply now link. There's also the link, sorry, I didn't mention that, to visit this, the school's website. That's kind of the best part about this search filter page, is that each of these profiles are linked directly to the school's website. So then you can just easily parachute over to the school's website to learn more. So that's the visit link. But the apply now button, if you click on that, that just takes you into the application service, or you can click at the very top of our website, apply right there. Either way, you'll log into your education account, or you'll sign up for it. So as you scroll down, you'll see that we have 23 out of 25 institutions now using our service. So since 2016, we're in the very final stages. We just for this fall are excited to announce that UBC and UVic are on our platform. So on October 1st, UVic has already gone live. So that's exciting, and UBC and the other institutions are opening up applications on October 1st. So as you scroll down, you'll see all the institutions listed there. BCIT and Royal Roads are not yet on our service, so there's the quick link to get over to their website. And there's a few other private institutions that you'll see in our search database. We don't house them on the application service, but you can learn more about those schools and apply through their websites directly. But this is the application service. So because, well, I've already created an account, so I'll log in, but you would create on sign up for your account. It's very straightforward. Just make sure that the email address is the email address that the student is going to check, and remember which one it is. Same with the password. So once they've confirmed the password and consented to the release of information, then they can create their account. And right away, our system is going to send an email to that address, and you need to confirm your account before you can submit an application. So as soon as you create your account, check your email, make sure you got that confirm account email, follow the steps, and then confirm your account and log in. All right, and once you're in, it is very user friendly. Basically, you're just going to first of all create your profile. Once there's just 3 sections here. You're going to give all your personal information, your names, birth date, etc. And the most important point is the citizenship. That'll determine what programs are available, sometimes for international students versus domestic. But you need to declare all the legal information about your personal information, your contact information, and then the academic history. That's what we'll enter in there. I didn't put Kitsilano right in there. So you can just add the institution, look for the school, enter in the dates, and go from there. So every aspect of this form is very user friendly. Sorry, I just lost my mouse for a second here. I need to cancel that. Where'd it go? There it is. And once they've created the profile, you can start applying. Now, if any section is incomplete, it'll show as orange, and it'll show that it's missing information. But once you're ready, you can select the institution. So whichever school they're going to apply to, they can just click on it. Now, again, applications aren't open to all institutions right now for the next year, but we can just get a little sense of it. Whichever school you click on, there'll be some information at first, and then you just start step by step. So this makes it look, straightforward, and it is, but it doesn't mean that any student should apply to any school and any program, right? You always want to make sure that you've researched the requirements, that you know that it's the right fit, that you're eligible, and that you're also prepared for the stages of the application. So specifically for a school like UBC, or that requires you to upload personal profile and some other information, you can do that within their application form. But just take your time and make sure that you're entering the information correctly. So you can always delete applications, and you can save it, you can go back to it, but it is very user friendly. So we would encourage all of you guys to create an account for students that are in grade 12 at least. That's really when you need to do it. Or if you're grade 11, you don't use this account really for anything else other than applications. But if you want to understand how it works, you can create the account there. All right, so there's some other features that you can just update your email and password and explore there. But once you've submitted the application, it will be recorded in this portal for you. So final point about our website, of course, is we've got the help section. So at the very top, you'll always see that. And if you get stuck with the payment, or there's a technical issue with the site, or if you want to know who to contact at each of the schools, you want to get in touch with the admissions department, we've created some FAQs. So it's under help questions, and there's a lot of other support here, or even if you want to know how to send high school transcripts, again, we've created a few of these FAQs that could help you as you navigate through the application process. Also, there's some how to search, how to apply, but ultimately there's a contact us form. So if you do have any questions, you can send us a message, and my colleagues and I answer them throughout the week. Ultimately, if your questions are about the school or about the program, just make sure you get into the institution's website. You can go onto our website, quickly pull up the details, get that summary, and then just get over to the school's website to contact them directly. Because again, we can't speak on behalf of schools regarding all their programs and policies, but we can make it easier at least for you to know who to connect with. All right, so that was basically the overview of the Education Planner BC website. And it's just after 8 o'clock. So I think I've met my goal so far with keeping it to about an hour. And just checking in with my colleagues here first, if there's any questions. I don't see any so far. If my colleagues want to jump in, was there anything else that I missed in the site that that I should be sharing? You can always let me know. But if there are no other questions on the site, I'll just quickly pull up our slide one more time here for the last few slides of the presentation. Okay, so I was just touching on that point at the end that, of course, we can't speak on behalf of schools regarding all their many policies and opportunities, but we can help you get connected with them. And we do really always reinforce the fact that post-secondary institutions have grown so much over the last 15 years, especially in BC. So there are a lot of support services for students. So if your students have any questions before they even graduate from high school, or while they're in grade 12, grade 11 and 12, and really trying to do their research, contact the recruitment office. They might be called future students, but either way, they can help explain program requirements or give you a sense of what it's like to be a student. Sometimes there are fun tours and even student for a day opportunities. And of course, throughout this year, there will be things like virtual fairs. So your students might actually be able to connect with some of these advisors virtually this year. But the other thing is once they launch into post-secondary, there's a whole web of support. So whether you go to a college or university or institute, there is a whole web of support and a whole bunch of great people there that can help with everything from, navigating finances and loans, accessibility services, as I mentioned. There's other things like academic advising, tutoring, and international opportunities. So just to wrap up then, I know your students are in different grades and you're still, navigating through this information, and it's a really exciting time. Of course, there's lots to consider, but really it's about taking the next steps to become more of who they want to be and what they want to do in the world. And a great way to explore, of course, their skills and interests would be by volunteering or, work experiences and getting different types of experiences under their belt before they graduate, so they get a better sense of what they like and who they want to be or what they want to do in the world. And of course, depending on what grade they're in, they're focusing on choosing that next level of courses, the grade 11 courses, or the grade 12 courses, and researching if those align with the programs you want to get into. And of course, for grade 12 students, now's the time to start creating the application, the account. And of course, early applications are always advised. That might qualify you for some scholarships or early intake. Some programs have limited seats. Every program's a little different. So just do your research and talk to the schools if you need more guidance on that. Finally, we're here to support you as well. Of course, we're on social media, Facebook and Twitter. We've got the YouTube channel with some of our tutorials, so you can always find us there. Yeah, I think that brings me to the end of the formal part of the presentation. So I just want to thank all of you so much for your attention, and definitely look forward to any questions. And I'll also invite Alan to come back on if you want to say anything to parents or follow up on anything that I've just shared.
Well, thanks, Christine. And I just really looking at the comments, is people seem to have appreciated the quality and amount of information, and saying that seems like it's going to be very helpful. So yeah, no, I was struck by a couple of new things, like tagging programs by their method of delivery, which was on nobody's horizon a couple of years ago, or not to the extent nearly that it is now. And good to see that the couple of the large institutions that hadn't been part of the website are now more fully participating, which is great to see. So yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, I'm happy if you guys are able to hang around for a few minutes. If folks do have specific questions they want to throw in the chat, that would be great. And otherwise, just thanks again. It's a great way to start framing things for parents to help be equipped to really assist, have a resource to work with their students on to help sort out some of the options and possibilities.
All right, thank you. All right, so I do see that there was a question in the chat, so I'm just consulting with my colleagues here how best to answer that too. But the question from Vicky, thank you, was how do I find more specific careers like radiology in the search website? And so I just tried myself with the keyword search there, and surprisingly didn't come up. Because I'm pretty sure that BCIT has some medical radiology programs. It's a specialization of medical school after medical school. All right, Irene, my colleague, is the content expert, and she does the detailed review of all these programs. So Irene, if you don't mind posting your comments in the public chat, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, that looks like something they would have to get into after medical school or a specialization. One thing to note in the credential area, you can search first professional degree, and I mentioned law and medicine are professional degrees. So that's kind of a quick way to get into those programs. Let's say we want to look at the Doctor of Medicine program at UBC, learn more about what's required. Of course, you need to have completed at least 3 years of post-secondary and these other requirements, but that can help you with the planning and again, get you onto at least the right part of the UBC website. So part of our site is really part of the benefit, of course, of our site is that it can at least help you launch over to the right part of the institution's website, because they are all organized differently. And sometimes it can be a little bit easy to get lost on the school's websites. Radiography. Oh, thank you for that tip there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. But I think that's one of those things where, why did it not show up there? Okay, well now we're always learning new things and trying to figure out these things as well. The other way you could search perhaps is over on the WorkBC website. We can just try this as well. I'm just going on the Getting Started High School Grads page over on Career Compass. Browse careers. I don't know. Oh, that's browsing careers. So again, yeah, you could type in these things. It does search by the National Occupation Classification. But you might be able to find more information about that. So if something jumps out at you that's what you're looking for, medical, I'm not saying that this is exactly what you're looking for, but just as an example, you can browse by the NOC and get the profile of information. And again, it explains how you get there. So I apologize, this is not the actual one that you're looking at, but that's an example. We could go back in there, medicine maybe, or doctor, specialist physicians, maybe that would be it, right? So you get the idea. Of course, we can explore WorkBC site, and you can also try through the EPBC site. All right, thanks, Vicki, for the question. Hope that helped. Anybody else have any questions? I didn't show you the trades database, but it performs in the same way. You can also see all kinds of different interesting trades training opportunities and see who offers the training, private trainers or post-secondary. All right, but I'll leave this here on our main homepage. Does anyone else have any questions about how to use our website or anything that their students might be exploring? Also, if you'd want to, if you want to unmute or raise your hand, feel free. Don't be shy. You're welcome to turn on your video and ask a question. So I'll just give it another minute here, see if anything comes through in the chat or if anyone wants to ask another question. But I think maybe some of you are maybe multitasking and using our website. Hopefully you can start to play around with it and see what information is going to be the most useful to you and your family as you navigate through this. But hopefully that was a good introduction for all of you. All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Irene, for posting there in the chat that answer to Vicky again. So again, if there's anything else that comes up, you want to send us a question, you know, if we don't know it off the top of our heads, we're always keen to just dive in there and do the research and ask the questions. You know, we definitely want to provide you with the information. So I apologize again if off the top of my head I can't answer it, but we'll certainly be happy to follow up with you. So go ahead under our help section, click on contact us and reach out to us. If you do have any questions about programs or applications or anything else. Otherwise, contact the school that you want to apply to, of course. All right, so I will leave it at that. I just want to thank my team for supporting me tonight, and I want to thank Alan and the Kits Pack for inviting us tonight. I wish all of you an excellent fall with all the many things that your students are doing. Encourage them to get the most out of their CLE and CLC classes, because honestly, I wish that I had those classes when I was in high school. You know, I think they just, the new curriculum is just gives them a lot of room to explore who they want to become and explore all kinds of opportunities that are out there for them. And really the landscape has grown so much. So there's a lot of exciting things that they could do after high school. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for your time. And thanks, Alan. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, Christina, and thank you, Christina, Melody, and your team for presentations. And just a shout out quickly to Charlotte and Karina, who the three of us are sort of the organizing committee for the series. And just to our parents who are here, please keep an eye out for future events, and also just a reminder that our Kids Pack AGM is coming up next Tuesday evening, and there will certainly be lots of opportunities if people would like to get involved in this kind of planning or other Kids Pack activities. We really welcome new faces and new energy as well. So thanks.
All right, thanks so much. Have a great night. We'll just close the meeting down in a minute here. So, but feel free to leave and we'll stop the recording as well. Thanks so much.